The Unews for Tuesday, August 6th. I'm Andrea Linares. Today we continue our team coverage of an American tragedy. Two mass shootings shocking the nation and the world. The first in El Paso, Texas, and the second later the same night in Dayton, Ohio. Those two attacks killing more than 30 people and injuring dozens. We begin in El Paso, Texas, where the search for answers continues. And here's the very latest. Authorities are investigating. And among the victims in the El Paso shooting were Jordan and Andre Anchondo, the young parents who died protecting their 2-month-old son. Family members are still in shock. Aranza Luisaga got an exclusive interview with Andre's brother, Gilberto Anchondo. Let's listen. As the brother just stated, the couple leaves behind 2 other children. The Anchondo family has set up a GoFundMe page. So far, it's raised over $67,000, and the most difficult days lie ahead, trying to see how you explain to those small children what happened to their parents. And now turning to the shooting in Dayton, Ohio. New video showing the terror inside the bar when police shot the attacker to death. Authorities are still trying to figure out why he murdered 9 people, including his own sister. Lorraine Gaceres is in Dayton with the latest on this. Lorraine.
Andrea, as you can see behind me, the signs of grief keep growing. People here coming to the memorial not only to cry for those that they have lost, but also to pay their respects. And as this grows, also are growing the opinions as to how to prevent this from happening again. On Sunday, we have reported that a lot of people during a vigil were chanting to the governor to make changes, to do something to prevent this from happening. And today, during a press conference early this morning, he said he heard those chants and he is working to make some changes, proposing new laws such as a red flag law, which would enable family members and also the police to ask a judge to temporarily remove guns away from someone that seems that might harm themselves and other people. This is something the NRA supports. And also the governor asking for background checks on almost all gun purchases, something that Ohioans here support vastly. So we'll have to see how that develops. But in the meantime, I want to take you to that new video that you were talking about that shows the horror that developed the night the shooting happens. We're also learning new details on the shooter, this time from an ex-girlfriend that says he used to hear voices. He couldn't sleep at night because he saw shadows in the form of animals, and he had to drink caffeinated drinks, caffeine pills, to be able to get through his day. So a lot of new details coming out here in Dayton, Ohio. So for now, I'll toss it back to you, Andrea.
Thank you, Lorraine, for that information. And moving on now, the Justice Department may push for a new federal law specifically gathered outside the White House to protest gun violence and to make their voices heard against this weekend's violence. Luis Mejid is there with the latest. Luis. We will certainly be covering that visit tomorrow. And also, President Trump condemns racism, bigotry, and also white supremacy after this weekend's shootings. Instead, he mentioned violent video games, the internet, and mental illness as factors that are leading to the rise in gun violence. Now the spotlight is turning to Senator Mitch McConnell's lack of action on gun legislation. This is something very interesting to note. While many call for tighter gun laws, Texas is set to actually loosen up their laws beginning September 1st. It will be easier to carry and store guns in Texas, home to 5 of the 20 deadliest shootings in the U.S. since 1900. The state is home to almost 1.4 million holders of active firearm licenses. And people gathered outside Ohio's Senator Rob Portman's home protesting for stricter gun laws on Monday after a group of in El Paso, Texas, along with the shooting earlier this year at the Poway, California synagogue and the attacks in Christchurch, New Zealand, are exposing the rising threats of racial extremist views festering on the internet. To delve deeper into this topic, let's go to Heidi Barrick. She's the director at Southern Poverty Law Centers. And we have a lot more coming up on U News, including a look at growing hate attacks against Hispanic people, economic move against. Welcome back to U News. Hispanic communities nationwide are on high alert after the weekend's mass shootings, in particular the attack in El Paso. Jaime Garcia spoke to activists who believe that the combination of violence targeting immigrants and the explosion of anti-immigrant hate make this a very dangerous moment.
The sounds of the gunshot that shed.
Now we turn to Washington, where an escalating trade war with China could mean big trouble for the U.S. economy. Some analysts fear that the conflict could soon reach a point of no return, particularly for America's farmers. Carolina Sarasa has more details. 7 people charged in an absentee ballot scandal in North Carolina appeared in court on Monday. This up next on Unews, growing Welcome back to Unews. A potential catastrophe was averted after 2 pilots were arrested before boarding their flight from Scotland to New Jersey. Those pilots charged with trying to fly while intoxicated. Aileen Cardet has the disturbing details. Singer R. Kelly is facing new charges, this time in Minnesota. Prosecutors in the short break, North Korea once again. Chances are you've gotten one of the hotels. And how about an app for household chores? Those details on today's trending segment. But kicking things off, get ready for Apple credit cards. Annabelle Sedano has more details.
Hi, that's right, and we begin with this. The Apple Card starts rolling out today. It will begin in preview of Tech News. I'm Annabelle Sedano. Have a good one.
That is way too impersonal for me. And new rules are aimed at stopping robocalls. The new rules close a loophole in the law that had prevented. Begin with Maite Imperiano. She has a preview of everything coming up in hour 2 of Unews. Maite, what do you have for us?
Thank you, Andrea. Yes, we have more for you just ahead. The Trump administration making a major move against Venezuela. We'll have the latest on the new economic embargo and what could mean an embattled leader Nicolas Maduro. We will also bring you the latest on a terrifying shark attack here in South Florida. The aftermath of that attack caught on camera. And in the wake of several children dying in hot cars this summer, one man is taking matters into his own hands to save a struggling dog. The dramatic video and so much more coming up just minutes away. Andrea, now back to you.
Thanks so much, Maite. We'll be watching, but first, coming up next, a positive story here on Unews. Dozens of maternity nurses pregnant. Welcome back to Unews. So here's an incredible story. What if you and dozens of your coworkers got pregnant and had babies all within months? Well, for a very special group of colleagues in Kansas City, that's exactly what happened. 36 of them have become pregnant or had babies just this year. Michelle Jurado brings us their story. It's hard to believe, yet it's true. I can't imagine how they must have their plates full between working in the hospital, taking care of patients and their babies, and then heading back home after a long day at work to take care of their own children. Congrats to all of them. And that does it for the first hour of Unews. I'm Andrea Linares, and stick around for more from Maite Imperiano. We have much more information coming up next. Thanks so much for watching.